Questions and comments.
The Honourable Member for Courtenay-Alberni.
Madam Speaker, and I want to thank my colleague for her speech. It was refreshing to hear the Conservatives finally identify that corporate greed is driving inflation when it comes to food prices, Madam Speaker. And Madam Speaker, we saw Conservatives in Great Britain, for example, charge an excess profit tax on the outrageous amounts of excess profits on oil and gas. Here in Canada, we have excess profits in oil and gas, at the grocery store, at the big banks. Madam Speaker, we can't even get Liberals in Canada to charge an excess profit tax. In fact, what I heard from my colleague is he identifies the need for improvement when it comes to competition in the Competition Act. So I'm hoping he'll support our leader who's tabled a bill to ensure that we have a comprehensive package to break apart monopolies and improve competition. Now, Madam Speaker, when he talked about the carbon tax, the greedflation, Madam Speaker, is about 20-fold the impact on grocery store prices compared to the carbon tax. Will my colleague support our leader's bill for the NDP, and will he support an excess profit tax on these corporations?
The Honourable Member for Bay of Quinte.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Well, number one, a tax is a tax, and a tax that's imposed on companies always goes on to consumers, and we're trying to make sure there's no more tax. No more tax. When it comes to an example of that, we just have to look to the late 90s, to the utility sector in Great Britain. So in the 90s, there was a windfall tax imposed on those utility companies, and the studies that came out 10 years later, there every part of those companies that had a windfall tax increased their prices, and the ones who bore those prices were the middle class, Madam Speaker. The middle class will always pay the higher prices that are imposed by any windfall tax or a tax in general. We in this side of the House are no new taxes. Thank you, Madam Speaker.